Lacerta sees this opportunity because I feel we are talking to a camera being, and Lacerta has done this before in my physical apparition as a green housing creature. I have been speaking with several humanoids many years ago, and since recently I'm doing this again, since many of the darker entities around this globe are retreating or just losing grip. This is what can be felt through in the entire third dimensional grid, which becomes more third plus, you can say. Everybody is wavelengthing themselves on these grids, and the ones who nourish their hearts will start to ascend faster. Here I speak my words again.
Hello everybody, we are sitting in my garden in Switzerland. Weather is a bit overcast, and yeah, we want to talk to Vigenta. It's one day before Star's birthday, and haven't talked to her for a long time. Vigenta is an inner earth being. She is reptiloid, wonderful friend of ours, and
the nanny of Star.
Nanny of Star.
Very important.
She's a beautiful person.
Really her biggest caretaker.
Yeah.
For the ones who are new, Star is our multidimensional daughter, and she will turn 4 years old tomorrow in linear time, but in quantum time where she lives, she turns 10. And
to see what Vigenta has.
And yeah, exactly. We have not been able to talk to Star a lot the last week. She's very busy integrating a lot of beautiful fields of her big sister Kuan, which is an incarnated soul part. And so we thought, let's ask Vigenta and see what she can share, her perspective on how she experiences Star. She always has so much love to share. It's always beautiful to talk to her. Let's see if she is available. Enjoy. All right. Vigenta, welcome to the crust.
Yeah, we had past lives with her, both Esther and myself. Maybe you can start to sense or feel. It starts to envelop us now. It's a big light. Also acting as a peace negotiator between reptiloid races, not so kind reptiloid races, and other beings. Because she's reptilian herself, and a big light. She's accepted from both parties.
And they're not related to the Draconians. They really are a different reptilian tribe. And they are really very kind-hearted creatures.
These are the typical signs of how she enters Esther's body more and more, pressing her arms, sometimes her legs.
It's really indeed typical of the lizard beings. They always come in like this. Every being has its own way of entering. This also helps for them to really settle into my body and ground themselves. In the beginning, they always touch my hair because they don't have hair, most of them, and they love to touch it. Hello, Vigenta.
Hello, dear one.
I wonder if it is Vigenta. It could also be Lacerta. Probably. They're both up in the air.
Some nice background music from our neighbors.
And crickets. Sheep bell. They're stabilizing their feelings.
Welcome, welcome.
Here I speak my words. Lacerta is my name. Lacerta, Lacerta, Lacerta. A lot can be shared from my perspective. However, I sensed you were calling upon our dear Vigenta friend. Of course, she will make way and speak with you about whatever needs to be spoken upon. Lacerta sees this opportunity because I feel we are talking to a camera being, and Lacerta has done this before in my physical apparition as a green housing creature. I have been speaking with several humanoids many years ago, and since recently I'm doing this again. Certain humanoid beings are not afraid to look eye to eye, face to face, into a creature that completely looks differently than they do themselves. I have been experiencing a grand big healing of traumas from the past because of this. I simply wanted to came by to indicate this, that times are changing on this globe. Many beings living in the inner earth regions these days are peeking up upon. We are trying to launch ourselves through the crust, be it in a more etheric shape. However, we are planning to densify once again. It's not a process that's done or complete within 1 or 2 years, possibly not even 1 or 2 decennia, possibly not even 1 or 200 years. It doesn't matter. Processes have been set into motion. Inner earth is rising. We are coming back to find renewed friendship and very warm embraces with our friends from the past. We want to just welcome you again in our hearts, also when we are among you crusters. My name is Lacerta. I leave the floor to my dear Vigenta friend. She has many beautiful things to share. I leave you now, and I know that you will be sensing inner earth is for real. It might not be the way you think. I dig a hole and then I stumble upon a cavern, even though this is also the case. Even many more civilizations are living in between realms, you can say, in between different dimensional places is just not the right word. Realms, there is a portal often that locates or sometimes dislocates and also connects and enables beings from one dimension to hop on or move through to a next dimension. This is how many of the beings and civilizations in inner earth have granted their ways in the past. We knew where to find those portals. At the time they were very translucent and very visible to us. We have created new homes through going there. It is important to realize these portals are again connector beings these days. They no longer keep us secluded and separate from, for example, a third dimensional layered civilization as humanity. However, we are more and more connecting again, connecting and building bridges between dimensions. My name is Lacerta. I will not take up too much of your time. Know that I will definitely gladly return and share more about my experiences back on the crust, as well in an ether body like now, just projecting myself into this kinder column of light, as well as in my physical green outfit. I am very excited to sense I can hold position more and more longer over time. 10-20 minutes is nothing for me anymore. I can stay for hours. It's not a problem at all. I feel comfortable and confident. I can relax. I sense hardly any fear. It is wonderful for me to sense how the third dimensional grid is being uplifted, since many of the darker entities around this globe are retreating or just losing grip. This is what can be felt through in the entire third dimensional grid, which becomes more third plus, you can say. Everybody is wavelengthing themselves on these grids, and the ones who nourish their hearts will start to ascend faster. I greet you for now. Miss Vigenta is awaiting me and looking a bit like this. Are you still talking, dear one? Now it's my time. I leave this kind dear channel for now. It's wonderful to feel your hearts have been worked on by very special creatures from a high solar kingdom. I sense this. I see it. There is a lot of radiation coming out there. Be very kind to your hearts. They are in further awakening. I greet you.
We love you. Thank you for coming in, Lacerta. We will use the opportunity to have a longer chat with you in the coming days. Thank you for coming by. Well, we didn't expect that. We thought that she is currently on the crust. What we know is that she goes there probably every week for a few days, and then it takes her a few days of adaptation time in her caverns. She needs a lot of quietude, and Star had shared that she is on her way to the crust, so we didn't expect her to come in today.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So that will be exciting.
Surprise.
I hope she will be able to speak to us
There's Vigenta coming in.
still this coming week, so we can give you an update on what she is experiencing there. It's a very exciting story, and I hope we'll be able to see her soon ourselves. Funnily enough, we asked our bodies, both our body consciousnesses, and they both said we will not survive that, or we will faint when we see her. And that will also change. Hello, dear Vigenta. How are you? Good to see you.
Here I speak my words, Vigenta calling. It is always, always, always again such a marvel to encounter one another. Of course, we could speak every day about how wonderful your beloved star child is. I can say our beloved star child. You know how much of a mother heart I have developed for her from the instant that we spotted her in your house at the time. It is a marvel for us as grand creatures in these caverns to be taking care of a humanoid child that has been hybridized for good reasons, to bring a very kind large energy field to this globe once again. Kuan Yin, beloved one, is visiting us still. Star might not always be so very conscious of it, because she is also a small one and she loves to play and have fun. She had a lot of fun today with many of the Arcturian friends who are housing in our caverns and are stationed there these days. A lot of them are stationed in inner earth. Your small one has so much fun, and in the meantime, when I look and gaze at her system, I see a lot of pearly flirt is not even the word, it's a translucent state where many of her higher beamed chakras and vortex fields are currently in housing. It means to say her big sister Kuan Yin at one, her big, large, oversoul creature, is non-stop infusing her with large parts of her own light. This means she sometimes still tips over and needs to sleep and rest. She thinks it's because she had too much fun with the Arcturians. It's nothing like this. Of course, she should have fun, and it can also be a tiny bit exhausting, but it's mostly because she is still being fueled by her big sister and integrating these high dimensional fields. She released a lot of old things from the past. This is an ongoing process for almost everybody who has a tiny bit of awareness. What is my life about? Where do I come from? What am I really? As soon as you start looking inside and ask yourself these questions, you come to the realization you are much more than a body. This is what Star Beloved One also realizes very, very well, and she can sense her body very well these days, and she also allows her body to take in more of this big essence that she came here to serve. It is important for all green ones here in the caverns to understand Star is not a lizard being. She is not a reptilian one. She is not even an inner earth creature, even though you could say Shambhala is inner earth. She has been residing in inner earth for a long period of time. She is a being that comes from a very high dimension, a dimension that has been very humanoid at the time that the field of Kuan Yin came to fruition and development in eons of time. Kuan Yin at one, she is with us in the caverns almost all day long. We can sense her field playing with us and also touching us in certain specks and spots in our bellies, in our chests that can still sometimes be a bit tender from traumas from the past that we carry as a collective tribe. Every time that Star wanders through the caverns and she smiles and waves and sends a kissing hand, she also does this more and more on behalf of her grand sister field of Kuan Yin. Beings sense the shift in themselves. She sometimes just gazes at a creature, it can be a small one or a larger reptilian friend, and then they start to pour with tears. People understand what Star is about when she talks to them or when she sings a song. I can sense this when I tune into your fields from afar. A lot of new friends are coming to your tribe these days, and we see also they get touched by her essence. What is her essence about? Her essence is not just a joyful, grateful child. She is the essence of Kuan Yin. This becomes more and more clear to all of us here. She is here to embody her highest divine source light, the field, the oversoul to which she belongs and from which she has been catapulted forwards. She is also taking on this role more seriously, more dedicatedly, so to say. She is no longer so much hampered by it as before, when she couldn't play or do her own little things here and there. She was a bit frictionated, she was a bit puzzled. Why do I need to integrate all these fields all the time? And currently she is much more easily relaxing and unwinding and taking it in. She is, so to say, surrendering to the big field that she is, to her higher source guidance. Many humans can and could do the same, just like we as lizard beings have been developing our higher guidance over time. Can we and do we dare to surrender to something as big that we can't fully grasp, something that contains so much light that it could almost be blinding, something that could burn our nervous systems and our other multidimensional layers and constructs and geometrical patterns if too much would come in at the same time? This is why there is always phases in one's awakening. Sometimes there is a big download and then nothing seems to happen for a year, and then all of a sudden a lot of new synchronicities and impulses come to one being and they need to be integrated. It's the same with Star Beloved One. Sometimes she has a very stable period. She can be a child. She doesn't need to integrate so much. And the last few weeks, she has integrated a whole lot of energies. I want to thank you for staying patiently with her also when she was not with you.
Yeah.
It is important to give her the space, and I sense as a deeply, deeply devoted caretaker that you do this. Exactly this is what she needs. Stable caretakers around her who give her the space to develop her ground divine source field of Kuan Yin at One. We are so grateful to be in this together.
Thank you, dear Vigenta. Beautiful to hear. Now we are recording this, as you probably have sensed. This is a video recording, not only an audio recording. And you mentioned something that most of the viewers might not be aware of. Arcturians, they come from the stars. What do they do in inner Earth?
Here I speak my words, Vigenta calling. I believe many of your tribe know about this already. For the ones who are new, I gladly explain. Many of the times in the past, the Arcturians have been looking and gazing at this globe, at humanity, trying to improve humanity's genome, trying to create conditions in which Earth could ascend. However, the Arcturians were never fully allowed to really set a step inside this globe. Many of them carry very beautiful fields and large spacecraft that are also equipped to really pass through matter, as you could call it, from the perspective of the third dimensional density. Matter is something that vanishes once you know how to manipulate wavelengths and vibrations. It can be done instantly, it can be done with sound, it can be done with voice, it can be done with programmings, it can be done with different types of structuralized light that we can emanate somewhere and it echoes back. There is a lot of possibilities to manipulate and create and uncreate matter on this globe. Long times it was not allowed for the Arcturians to fully start housing inside inner Earth because it would speed up the ascension too much because they have such a large, wide field. Currently, only a few months, weeks ago, it has been granted by the Grand Councils of this galaxis that there was an entrance point, a node, you could say a nexus where things and timelines came together, and there was a green wave. Arcturians were allowed to start landing and building settlements inside the globe. Because of these two beloved ones and their relationship with Star and their relationship with the cosmic family and the relationship with us as an inner Earth tribe, there was an immediate link up. It was not even needed any longer for those two beloved humans to start discussing this, sending emails, text messages, beaming telepathically. Should we connect them? It's no longer needed. Once the connections have been laid out and you make many connections with a lot of beings everywhere in all dimensions every day, then they will find each other. This is what the network and the gridding means once the light can truly come to fruition. The Arcturians knew there is a beautiful tribe. Star Beloved One is also living there. Let's see if we can build a settlement there. This is what they petitioned to us as a lizard tribe, and we gladly, of course, agreed with them. They have built out a subcavern. They created a very large craft that was stationary there for some time to augment the energies so they could stabilize a living field for them to live in, also without the craft being present. A spacecraft is, so to say, an environmental home, just like the Earth has its living circumstances. You couldn't live without oxygen, you couldn't live without the atmosphere, nor without the sun, nor without the winds and the waters. It's the same for the Arcturians. They need a certain amount of nutrients and environment, a stable environment with very high potentized energy fields inside the globe in order for them to build out a settlement to live there truly. They did this over the course of not just only a few weeks. The crafts are gone now, they can return when needed, but they have created the settlement and the space, so to say, for them to live there. About 50, 60 of them are mostly there. They are trying to beam out energies so that the inner workings of Gaia are ascending in a nice pace, and they do this in many, possibly hundreds different spots everywhere around the globe. Arcturians are a masterful race, and every time when we look at them, it's almost like we start to cry and we don't know why. Just the look at them gives such a big serenity, such a big trust, such a big confidence that everything is already done. It's already okay. They breathe this in their beingness. They emanate such a peacefulness, such a trustfulness, such a not a decadence, but such a luxurious feeling of completely being comfortable in the here and now moment. They have a complete faith, a complete knowing that peace on earth is attainable and that the darker forces are retreating. They finally, after eons of time, are seeing true shifts coming about. It might be one of the first time that they are really building settlements to stay for a longer period of time. It's been a breakthrough also for us as a tribe because we live so close with them that we also started reverberating at a higher and higher pace. Our caverns have truly, literally been bathing in golden plasma light a few times in the last weeks in your linear time. We had this only a few times in our entire legacy as lizard beings, and now we have had it multiple times. This means that our entire collective field is ascending to a next octave, a next octave, a next octave. Once you start seeing more gold around you, it can be little sparks, it can be waveforms. Know that a part of you is truly ascending to a higher level. It can also mean you lower again and you higher again, you lower again, you higher again, but most of the time, once you see a lot of golden waves, a lot of golden plasmic light, you know something big has occurred. We have sensed this a few times and we can't say it enough. It's because the Arcturians landed with us in Inner Earth. We are so grateful for their eon long support. They seem to be really truly without any hesitation, and they have all the effortings for it. They seem to be onuitputtelijk. This is a Dutch word coming through. There is really no reserves. They have so much energy and patience with the ascension process of this galaxy.
Yeah, that's beautiful news. And there was a very funny, I mean, this is a really major breakthrough. We all know that if they can come into Inner Earth with hundreds of ships. But there was a very funny story. I don't know if you want to share about it. Their structures that they built, they started crumbling after a few days. Who helped, besides you, of course, to repair these structures? That was such a
Proud dad
hilarious...
speaking.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was also Star, I know, but I was referring to something else. You want to share a little bit about...
I go to the back again. Here I speak my words, Vigenta calling. This is very normal. Once we as beings started building out our caverns, our master creator, our collective consciousness gatekeeper, so to say, is called Golden Glove. Is this name because he has a golden hand touch with which he can create the circumstances and the space holding for a grand consciousness to develop in the atmosphere, so to say, of our living environment. This is also what the Arcturians did with their craft. And in the beginning, it can truly be the case that it's not stable enough and the field crumbles. The things they build up, they crumble. They sometimes need an even bigger field to stabilize their new fields that are being trying to adjust and harmonize with the inner workings of Inner Earth. This is when we thought of Armadillo Friend. She is a very large armadillo creature. It is a wounded being from the past that has resurrected. There is many of them. We still look after them on a daily basis, and they are marvelously also benefiting all the workings and the energy fields from the Arcturians. And she is a massive creature, once upon a time programmed for unkindness, and currently she has healed almost 100%, also due to the presence of Star, who healed her heart by sitting with her, by being with her, by scratching her back, by singing for her. And these days they are doing choreography and entertainment, you could almost call it, for and with the Arcturians. It is wonderful to see. As soon as Armadillo was sort of flown in, of course not flown, but brought to the side caverns of the Arcturians, there was a program that she started to run. She is a programming creature. It is hard to explain because humanity doesn't have a brain like that, but these creatures can really be programmed into kindness or unkindness. She still runs programs from her field. This is what occurred as soon as she was brought to these regions. The Arcturians synchronized with her, let her know this is how we like it. Can you do this for us? Star also gave her a wink. All is fine, these beings are great, just give it a go. Armadillo felt relaxed and relieved, and she felt, I'm gonna do this, let's take it all in. She took a very close look around. It means that she is scanning her environment. She takes in the GPS code, so to say, the coordinates, everything that needs to be manifested. It's about manifesting from another higher dimensional place. Then she kind of instructed the scenery to change at will exactly the formula and template that the Arcturians gave to her. And then almost in a blink of an eye, it was not a blink of an eye, it was a blink of half a day, you could say, in linear time, there was a lot already that had crumbled, that started to come back to life. Arcturians live is a big word, but they rest in cubicles that look a bit like an egg shape, and it is hollow like this. You can sit in it like this. I see in this channel that you have not mattresses, terrace chairs like this. It's an egg that is hanging, it's hovering in the air. It doesn't hang necessarily on cables, it can just hover like that. They had already created a few because it's so important for them to recharge in these egg structures. However, they had crumbled apart. There were no eggs for them to rejuvenate and recharge. They got the template, send it to Armadillo. Armadillo, almost in half a day, reshaped all the eggs that had already vanished from eyesighting. It doesn't mean they were gone, they were still there in the template field, but they needed to get the particles realigned. Armadillo did that for them. She programmed it, and it was good in one go. All the Arcturians were extremely pleased with her. They clapped her back. She is truly a massive rhinoceros creature, you could say, but then 3 times the size, a bit higher. She has a very high cap here that she can put down if she is calm, and if she wants to impress, she puts it up like this. Star often sits behind it and relaxes into it. It's wonderful to see the two of them together. However, your question was who helped with this. It is truly the case. A being that once upon a time served the darkness and was programmed for unkindness is now being not used, but asked to perform programs for good. And this is what she did. We were all very grateful. Armadillo could go and take a rest and a nappy again. It was all right for her. She doesn't have the feeling, I need to do this on a daily basis. She is not the type of creature for that, but she served tremendously in setting things anew again in the building caverns of the Arcturians. This is how we like to proceed these days, much more. We were a secluded tribe for long periods of time, and currently we are looking after damaged draconians, damaged reptilians who are coming to us for reverence, for a sanctuary of healing, and we are bringing them in lineaging with the Arcturian friends who are nurturing Gaia from inside out. We are becoming an intermediary serving race that is connecting the dots with you on the crust. Miss Lacerta travels back and forth with her loved one. It is beautiful to see the glow on her green cheeks as soon as she comes back under again, and she has had a beautiful amount of time with her loved one together. It is wonderful that we can share these things these days again. It's no longer islands of beings here and there, disconnected from the oneness. The oneness can be experienced everywhere.
Yeah, this is so amazing to see that we are not only ascending as humanoids or other beings in inner earth, but it's really a new type of cooperation. This is also why I asked the question, that this being that was around 35 or 34,000 beings programmed by the draconians to run havoc once the earth starts to ascend, to awaken and start to battle again, and they are now helping this magnificent race of Arcturians who are coming to help us to resurrect their structures. It's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. We might have a little noise coming up. My neighbor just spotted me. He's running his old beautiful motorcycle now. He's trying, so You might have to have a short break because it's very loud, beautiful sound. But yeah, you act also as an
Here I
intermediary.
speak my words. My name is Vigenta. It is wonderful to meet you again. We can also talk again on another moment. Sometimes it is good to keep the information not too lengthy and dose it a bit. I don't want to overwhelm any of your viewers or readers. I would love to connect with you on a daily basis. I tell you this almost every time I see you, and we do connect on an ether level. This is how many more of the connections will start to be. You might also sense it with your family and friends. Sometimes you just synchronize with them on the ether levels. You sense they are thinking of me now, or I need to make a phone call. They are really reaching out for help. Something is pulling you towards a place where you can go. It's the higher source field that becomes much more easily available these days. I simply want to thank you for inviting me over. My dear friend Lacerta one was a tiny little bit faster, and I believe it was important that she shared a few notes. I leave you now. It's always good to let this kind dear channel also rest. She has been working quite hard today, I sense. I greet you both. I love you very much. Your small one is in very, very good hands. Green ones, colorful ones, very big ones, small ones. It is a wonderful tapestry of races and beings these days. I honor everything you all do for the Ascension. Stay truthful to what you need in your kind heart. This is always the best choice to me. I greet you from my greenest heart.
Thank you, Vigenta. So beautiful to hear from you. You're right. We will come back and ask you for more information. Yeah, this is Vigenta. It's beautiful to talk to her. It's so amazing what we've learned in the last 2 years from them, with them, and what is possible. It's really, we are experiencing new times here, and all becoming a big family of funny beings, green and Arcturian and Pleiadians and fish and draconians of all sorts. So it's such amazing times happening. The galactic Earth peace that we are creating together. So reach out to everybody and send them your kind love and heartfelt feelings. Very, very grateful for that, especially the inner Earth beings like Vigenta and Lacerta. They can sense that.
Thank you all for watching again. With love from all of us.
Next time on Galactic Earth Peace Project.
As soon as one of my eyes materialized, I gazed at him, and not just at him as a being, at him as a soul. I could truly see into his soul and recognize him as one of my partner friends from a different lifetime.